I don't really see myself as a mainstream star. I have done some 55, 60 films. I didn't want to be an actress. I mean, I was...
Maybe direction or something?
I think I'm a nice, good human being, but I still think that I'm a bit of a snob.
Even
and
now?
by snob, yeah.
Okay.
And I think by snob, I mean that I have high standards. I was actually very removed from the film industry world.
You're not a struggler from, say, luck by chance who comes to Bombay and goes for auditions and figures out.
My mom is a well-known actor, director, but also from Calcutta, from Tollywood, you know. And even though she's done some Hindi films and people do know her, especially her directorial work.
There's page 3, there is Wake Up Sid, there's luck by chance. A girl comes to the city, right? Independent, single woman, figures out her life. That's literally those 3 and sees the city from another gaze.
That's so interesting, Mayank, that you put it like that, because of course it wasn't planned. And I was very lucky actually to get these roles. And how people see you is not something you can control. You just do the things that seem right to you.
Hello and welcome to Sit with HitList, our completely unscripted conversation series. My name is Mayank Shekhar. With me is actor Konkona Sen Sharma.
Hi, Mayank.
How are you doing? No need for long introductions, of course.
Yeah, very good.
But I have to say that I've actually known you for very, very long.
That's right.
Even before you became a Hindi film actor. We went to the same college.
That's right.
The same number of years. I think you moved to Bombay around the same time.
2005, I call it the year of the flood.
And a year before that also, I think you've done something in Bombay before
I was
that as well?
working out of Bombay so much that I felt it now makes sense to kind of just move, instead of living out.
And it's been, 20 years. I do what I do for a living. You do what you do. But this is the first time we're having a conversation with the camera on. This makes it very special for me. It is the first time, Koko.
And we've never actually had a chat.
Yeah.
But maybe not in front of the camera.
Not in front of the camera.
Properly, formally.
Yeah. In fact, to a point that I only learned coming here that you're called Koko because Shabana Azmi named you so. I didn't even know that. I thought Koko is just your name. And because everyone in college called you Koko, right?
That's right. Actually, I was 9 years old and Shabana was acting in my mother's film called Sati. And she nicknamed me Koko and then eventually it just stuck.
Right. So do you otherwise have like a dark nam?
Dark
which
nam.
Which is different from
Yes,
Koko?
actually when I was born, my grandmother named me Kakon.
Kakon, okay.
Kakon. And then that just kind of fell away. I mean, one or two people still do call me Kakon, but it's very rare.
What does your mom call you?
Kokuma.
Kokuma. My first memory of you, and I think memory plays tricks sometimes, is because I don't know whether it's my first memory of you or someone else's memory that I remember, is you in college playing Kali in, I think, Girish Karnad's Hayawala.
That's right.
And that you really killed it in that part.
That Jaideep had directed.
Right. And I don't know whether I saw you or everyone else saw you and told me that you're amazing.
It's a really fun part. And what's really fun is that actually I shared that part with one of my best friends, Ninna. Niranjana Onnikrishnan.
Right. Shout out to Ninna. Yeah.
That's right. And very generous of her because initially, actually my entire first year of college, I don't know if you'll recall, but I didn't do any acting.
Okay.
Because I was really too shy to audition in front of my seniors and just generally, I was not even interested in being an actor. And I did some backstage work and stuff like that. And it's only in my second year that I started, doing some plays and I was really enjoying it. And then I think Jaideep had cast Ninna in this role and then later I went and told him that, no, actually I do want to really do it. And then he was double casting, do you remember? He was double casting, like there were many Padminis and many, I forget the names of the characters right now.
Right.
But, and so there were 2 Kalis and we split the show. So thank you, Ninna.
But you actively were involved with theatre. I mean, for all that reluctance to being an actor, you were part of Shakespeare Society or Shakespeare, as it's called, the Theatre Society of St. Stephen's College. You're quite in the middle of and the thick of things,
In my second and third year, I did a number of plays, but I think that's also because, we were studying also Theatre of the Absurd in my third year. I had a lot of friends who were also doing a lot of plays around me. So, and I was very happy and comfortable doing that. I just hadn't ever thought of it as a profession.
How? Why? You were always Aparna Sen's daughter. I mean, even for us, my actual real memory of you is watching you from a distance. We were all movie buffs at the time, and you had a tote bag, or what's a film festival bag, of Carlo Viveri. And I'm like, wow,
right.
she's been to Carlo Viveri. That's pretty cool, I thought.
I think my mom had been, and I just kind of inherited the tote bag from what I remember. But yeah, I had gone to a lot of film festivals with her, and there was that cine club where we used to watch films also in college, right? I didn't want to be an actress. I mean, I was...
maybe direction or something?
No, I think that I had thought that I would get into something, I don't know, like advertising or journalism or publishing or something. Things that people do when they do English honors, I guess.
Well, one thing that you did, and that is what got you all the attention and the notice, I distinctly remember, by which time I was a journalist. And I think I met you when you'd done Titli, which was playing at Mammy.
Okay.
And I remember Uma Dakuna introduced me to you. And sorry, of course, I know her from college. But Mr. and Mrs. Iyer, right?
That's right.
That would be the big thing that everyone sort of, hey, that's a lead role.
That's right. That's right. You know, I actually did my first Bengali film, which is called Agdiya Chakonna, between my second and third year of college, in that vacation time. And
was it the Durga Puja release? Was it one of those big
no,
things
I don't
in
know.
Calcutta?
I mean, I shot during the, our summer vacation, which was like July-ish. And I was so unhappy the whole time because even though the director was so sweet, Shabana Sen, that I was such a snob and I was so unhappy with this kind of, because it was like an adaptation of like Crush, which was like a Hollywood B film. And, I didn't really empathize with my character so much. And I thought she was so silly. I was so unnecessarily judgmental about my character. And I really couldn't care less at that time about the film, about the part. I was like, okay, I've done that as a lark. I wasn't even very sure I should do it. But my mom was like, just do it, try it out and see. It's your summer vacation, nothing to lose. I did it and I was like, oh, that's done. And, hopefully it never releases. I was like that. I was just like, and I was...
But if you're not a snob in your 20s, when would you be, right? And that goes with the age. No?
Maybe. I think, firstly, I'm a nice, good human being, but I still think that I'm a bit of a snob.
Even
and
now?
by snob, yeah.
Okay.
And I think by snob, I mean that I have high standards for myself.
So when you come down to Bombay, which is the opposite of a snob town, right? Literally, it's where commerce rules, it's show business, how much did it make, that's how you become a star. There's no, there's currency to
But
only
that's not the world I
sales.
really participate
No?
in.
No?
I don't really have to participate in that world. I mean, what?
You never chose to, you figured out a way to stay away from it. It's not easy, right, Koko? Because you're right in the middle of it again.
No, it's okay. I don't know now, Metro. I don't know. Sometimes people ask me also. I don't know numbers and all. How will I know? If somebody is giving me a job to do, I'm grateful. See, that was then that I was, such a, I don't really care.
Right.
And even after Mr. and Mrs. Iyer, I remember I used to look at the classifieds for jobs. I went to Delhi. I was still in and out of Delhi, and I used to look for jobs and go for interviews and stuff like that. Yeah, I did go for interviews. Some sales interviews.
Sales interview, what are you talking about?
I swear to you. And then what happened is when I got the national award.
What, a Eureka Forbes?
It's something I saw in the paper. I don't remember. But it's when I got the national award that I got some attention. And so other people got to know that I'm acting. And then I got some offers from Bombay. And then, eventually I started working a lot here. And I thought, okay, let me just try it out for a few years and see before I get a real job. That was always my attitude.
So you get offers from Bombay after Mr. and Mrs. Iyer, I'm guessing, after the national award. And the first one that you pick is Madhur Bhandarkar. He may like to think he's an art house filmmaker, but he's really a mainstream commercial guy.
I actually did two other films before that. I did a film called Chai Pani, etc. in Delhi with Manu Rival, where I played two characters, twins. And then I also did a film called Amu, which is on the 84 riots, which is Shonali Bose's debut film.
Right.
And I think after, I'm a little fuzzy about the timeline, but I think after that, I was offered Page 3. And, Madhur had just made Chandni Bar, which I loved, with the gorgeous and amazing Tabu, whom I adore. And so I was very excited. I was like, and then I came to Bombay, and then I also did those films. I did Rajat Kapoor's Mixed Doubles. I did Nasiruddin Shah's Yun Hota To Kya Hota. So I was doing those films. That's right. And I was in and out of Bombay, and I'm living out of suitcases. So then I was like, let me just rent an apartment for a few months and see. However, that was then. I have to say that today, I'm very grateful for my journey.
Right.
I'm very happy and fulfilled.
But what really happened, and of course this is, you make it sound, and I guess it is also the truth, that stuff just happened to you in the sense that I don't think you auditioned, you're not that struggler you're not a struggler from, say, luck by chance, who comes to Bombay and goes for auditions and figures out and, just ekes out a living, as it were. That's not your story.
No.
Obviously not, right?
No. I mean, firstly, to begin with, I mean, even though my mom is a well-known actor, director, but also from Calcutta, from Tollywood, and even though she's done some Hindi films and people do know her, especially her directorial work, but I mean, she was, in that sense, she was a large fish in a smaller pond, in Calcutta. And I mean, also she chose, especially in her directorial work, to do very alternative kind of, like her content was not at all mainstream.
Right.
So I really saw what that is.
But stuff that survives, right? 36 Charangi Lane is an all-time classic.
I'm her biggest fan.
Right.
And I stand by all her choices. Second then.
Yeah.
But I also saw how difficult it is to make something that's a little different and that's not mainstream. I also didn't grow up watching a lot of mainstream Hindi or Bengali films because I think the culture and the family, because my grandfather also was a film historian and a film critic, he co-founded, that's right. He co-founded the Calcutta Film Society along with Ree, and they watched a lot of world cinema, a lot of regional cinema. So I had a lot of that influence as well.
But what ended up becoming your filmography, at least, and that's what the whole country knows you for, is what I would call Koko's Bombay Trilogy, right? So there's Page 3, there is Wake Up Sid, there's Luck by Chance, a girl comes to the city, right? Independent, single woman, figures out her life. That's literally those three, and sees the city from another gaze. From the gaze of someone from Bhilai, in the case of Page 3, the gaze of Kanpur, in the case of Luck by Chance, in the case of Wake Up Sid, of course, is Calcutta. That's a city that you know. Would that be a correct way of putting it? Because you were also seeing Bombay, you were also new to the city, you were also figuring out your life, but you're also doing it through characters, 3 different characters, 3 iconic films, 3 love films. People watch it even now. That's
so interesting, Mayank, that you put it like that, because of course it wasn't planned. And I was very lucky actually to get these roles. And how people see you is not something you can control. You just do the things that seem right to you. And then I guess there is a story around it, or there's a narrative, or then, I mean, how people choose to see me is actually almost irrelevant to me, because that's their prerogative.
Do you not think about it?
I don't really think about it.
So when you're looking at the Bombay film world by Zoya Akhtar, who knows that world really well, she's grown up in that world and she places you there, you're also seeing the world as you are as a person too, not just as the character, but Koko herself. What was that Bombay like for you? What is that Bollywood that you saw? How different was it from how you lived in Delhi, how you grown up in Calcutta?
Oh, I was actually very removed from the film industry world, I think. I mean, it's not like I've actually not really ever felt like an insider in anything. I've always, that's kind of almost been a part of my identity, that I'm very happy being a little bit on the periphery of things and I'm a little bit of an outsider. I really enjoy that perspective.
Like that would be your memoir, right? You're the outsider.
I don't know. By the time, if and when I write my memoir, I may have changed my mind.
Sure.
I'm allowed. So I don't know at that time how I'll feel looking back in hindsight.
But still a job though, right? And a job that requires, a certain trappings. You're in the mainstream films, you want to be a mainstream star, you see people around you doing things they do, entourage, etc.
So I don't really see myself as a mainstream star.
But you're in these mainstream films though.
I have done some 55, 60 films. A few of them are what are considered more mainstream, and many of them are not considered mainstream. Even when I have done some films which are mainstream, it is usually the not so mainstream film of that particular studio.
Like or their first
Wake
films.
Up Sid.
Right.
No, that's the directors. Like Wake Up Sid, I don't think is Dharma's, perhaps one of its lesser mainstream films.
Right. We just look at Ranbir differently now. Right?
Yeah, but Ranbir was just starting off then.
Yeah,
He was so new. He was so young then, no? And so in that sense, I've not really, and it's not like I hugely participated in
that world?
In that world,
No?
hugely. I've always had my own world and my own very non-filmy friends. And I've made, of course, Sandhya Mridul, Tara Sharma and I are still very good friends from Page 3 days. But it's not like I've made a lot of like close friends from the film industry as such. I have like a certain love and respect for certain individuals.
So you never really saw it as that mainstream career as a lot of people tend to do in their 20s when they're entering movies.
No, I was always like, okay, let's see how this turns out. And then like I'm always 1 foot in.
Reluctant actor?
I'm an accidental actor and a very grateful one today. I'm very happy. I'm very lucky that things worked out that they did. I'll tell you why. Because there are a lot of very, very talented people who don't get opportunity, who don't get awards. And yeah, that's the truth. There are so many like that, no?
It just happens. And it just happened that you've done about 60 films in your career so far.
Yeah, almost. But like only half of them are decent.
Half is not bad.
Half is not bad in a career. Half is not bad in a career. You know, you have to do all kinds of films.
Right. Like I'm having this conversation with you right before your series is going to be out, which is Search, the Nena murder case.
That's right.
And you're playing a cop there.
Yeah, I'm playing a cop.
You played a cop before, right?
I think I've played a cop I think in Akira, the Sonakshi Sinha film, I played a pregnant cop and it was really more of a cameo.
Right.
That was a small role.
And Kutte, you were a Maoist insurgent, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. In Kutte, I was. Yes.
You're a petite young thing, you know, and I want, well, petite and petite. Youngish thing.
I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily feel very young, but I feel very tall also, which is so funny. In my head, I'm very tall. So which is so funny for my friends, right?
Right? I mean, like you would
have
to
think tall.
Delusional to think that you can flatten so many, people to the ground. That's what actors do in action sequences. I want to understand your process, Koko, in terms of how do you break it down for even aspiring actors who are watching this? What is your craft? What is your process? How do you make yourself believe 6 feet tall, I'm going to go kill that dude, whereas you're really not? And when you're transforming into people, and I'm giving an example here because it's a cop example here, because you're going to be like this dude, and then you could be something else altogether in another film. What's a common process for you as an actor?
Firstly, all cops don't have to be dudes.
Well,
you can be a cop in your own way, and that's what's so nice about ACP Samyukta Das in this show is that she's her own kind of cop. And the dude is actually Surya Sharma's Jai Kanwal. Because he's the one who's trying to be very like dabang like, and he's young and why not? Young and foolish. But, and I love how my character is a little like just, she's older and she's a little jaded. She's not always taking the bait. And once in a while, she just like, he's always what is it called? Giving these jibes. And once in a while, she'll be like, oh my God, you remind me of my teenage daughter. And that's it, So I really love that kind of like, I mean, everybody doesn't have to be alpha.
Yeah.
And I just shy away from that energy anyway. But what I mean by tall is that, I mean, it's a kind of a half joke. I mean, I have tall friends and I do sometimes feel tall, and it's not like something I'm doing to play a part. I've always felt like that, I mean, in any case, I'm a bit of, especially growing up, I would say I've been quite an introvert and maybe a bit of a loner as well, slightly bullied, happy reading on my own for hours and happy to be invisible and to watch rather than to be watched.
Which is the opposite of an actor, right? Isn't acting so much about narcissism? Like you should love the gaze on you, should love the camera on you, no?
I mean, you can think how you'll feel. Different people think differently about acting.
Right.
I don't necessarily feel like not all great actors are, for example, great mimics, or not all great actors actually want a lot of attention all the time. You have all kinds of actors.
My question to you was your process, Koko. Like, what's the thing that remains common between the roles that you play? So
I also like to be, I take a certain pride in being adaptable. And I do like to take the lead of my directors. Like, for example, Rituparno Ghosh, whom I loved working with, and I did a few films with him.
I think Doshar is my favorite Rituparno Ghosh film.
Thanks for saying that. Yeah, me too. I love it.
What a film, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, in case you haven't watched it, that's one record coming from here, yeah.
Like, for example, he didn't do any prep. We didn't do any prep. Like, he gave me the script and then we may have discussed it a little bit and then we would like shoot and he was so terribly relaxed. And then I remember, and I was so young, Mayank, at that time, and I remember him telling me, you like this? You like the scene? Should we just take it out? I'd be like, yeah, this is too long. Let's just take it up. We're sitting there on set saying, okay, cancel this. Okay, we'll not keep this also. To even, it's so confidence inspiring for a young person, and he would even say things like, oh, why don't you do the art direction for this? Back then we used to call it art direction. Do the art direction for this film. And I'd be like, oh my God, why do you think I even can? So that was very lovely. But there are some directors like my mother, for example, believes in a lot of detailed hardcore prep, like Meenakshi Iyer. And partly it is dependent on how removed your character is from you, sociologically, economically, culturally. If they're very removed,
you're turning into
course,
Mrs. Iyer, for God's sake.
Yeah, right. And again,
I have a quiz question for you. Who plays Mr. Iyer and Mr. and Mrs. Iyer?
I'll tell you. Chintan, he's Kadam's brother, and I forgot Kadam's last name, but Chintamani?
Karthik Chintamani.
Come on! That's right. Again, like more than 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, Rahul Bose, of course, becomes Mr. Iyer, for all those who are wondering.
That's right.
Did he actually genuinely stand outside your mom's door saying, hey, you have to cast me for this role, Rahul Bose?
No.
He seems to say that he was like, hey man, I really want this role. Like, he did the best he can. So listen, I need to do this role.
Really? Then I'm not aware, or I've forgotten. I'm also a very vague person. You'll have to ask him. I don't think he did that. Did he?
Or maybe it's a thing to say. He must have made a few calls.
Maybe. And that's between my mom and him. So I don't even know.
Right.
I was trying to tell my mom not to cast me. I was like, why would you want to take me? Why don't you take a Tambram woman? I'm going to do my Emmy in DU. And then she was very smart, and she tricked me, and she said, no, you go do my research for me. So I went off to Madras to do, the research on the difference between Iyers and Iyengars and Shaivites and Vaishnavites and things like that, and what they wear and what they eat and what they do.
I like how you're transforming into Mr. Iyer right now when you're speaking.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I don't even know doing it.
I
don't know. But my mom would say, because, we used to have this ancient desktop in my room growing up, and she would be typing on that, and she would read out. But that's all, she's been reading out her scripts to me and my sister for since we were kids, right? And she had said that apparently it's because of the expressions on my face while she's narrating that made her think that I could do this. So I was like, no, take somebody else. And then, anyway, so then she...
So yeah, so there is a Rituparno Ghosh as a director. We're talking about Bengali film industry right now. And there is Aparna Sen, and she's very different from Rituparno.
Yeah, no, but it was really to illustrate that different directors have different styles. And that's okay. And you don't have to, but I would like to try.
Right.
And so I'm really okay. So it's not like I have a particular process. I do think it's very helpful to know the script very well, to at least have a good rapport with your director, and to have some readings or some rehearsals with your co-actors. That's very helpful. The look test really helps. Nowadays, it's more normalized, but I think back then we didn't do a lot of look tests or anything. That really helps, especially if the character is a little removed from you, as I was saying, because my mom used to say, going from the outside in. Like in Meenakshi Iyer, I would wear that yellow sari and I would have that bindi and that tali that they wear, and I'd be like, okay, now I'm Mrs. Iyer.
And that helps, right? When you wear the costume,
yeah,
it's just
it really helps.
The outer shell.
It really helps, especially if some thought has gone into it and it's not a generic thing.
Right. How would, say, a Vishal Bhardwaj be different from a Zoya Akhtar as a director when they're directing you?
What I remember is that...
You're talking about Omkara, of course.
Yeah, of course. Talking about Omkara. And I remember he had made Maqbool. So again, Tabu in Maqbool. And I was... I'm so in love with that film still, right? And Tabu and Irfan and everything. But that whole film, the whole time, I don't remember anything except being so stressed about that UP dialect.
The Western UP dialect.
Yeah, because, I'm a Bengali person. My Hindi is just about okay. And I spent a lot of time, really rattoing my lines. And then I had to speak in that Western UP dialect, and then it had by then become sing sound. I started off when we were doing dubbing and ADR. And then it became sing songs, you had to get it right. And I was kind of newish. And there were these very established actors around me, It was nerve-wracking. The whole thing was nerve-wracking. One day I remember, and Vishal is very, very gentle, very sweet. And I remember one day he came and just said quietly in my ear, he said, Koko, you just concentrate on the acting. Don't worry so much about the accent. I was like, oh shit, now I'm not even being able to act.
Did I get it wrong?
Forget the accent is not happening, acting is not happening. I don't know what I'm doing here. So my only thing was I have to go there, I have to be able to say my lines and come out. I have to be able to do that properly. So, yeah.
It's incredible, right? Especially that bit where you are Langra Tyagi's wife. Langra Tyagi also is the furthest from Saif, and you are Indu, who's the furthest from yourself in that sense. It's crazy casting.
Yeah, I don't know why they thought we could.
Works, yeah.
And then Zoya's film. I mean, what a script! Like it's like till today, it's one of the best scripts I've read in my life. It's sparkling, you know. So and one had heard about the script, that it had made the rounds, and that they were trying to make it
for years.
Right. It was like common knowledge at that point. And so when it came to me and I read it, I was like, what? This film is not getting made? What do you mean? And I was like, yes, please, I want to do it. And it was great. It was so
Did you audition
wonderful.
for the part, or it just landed on your...
You know, I don't remember. I don't think so, but I can't even remember. I remember being so much in awe of Zoya. I was so new, I was so young, and you know, she had written this amazing thing, and she was so cool and totally like in control, and so like, you know, cool and smart, and like I was just very happy to be in her very capable hands on her very efficient set.
Which was very different from the Bhardwaj approach you're saying, in terms of how it was?
No.
How different was it?
No,
Well, the question was, how different were the two of them?
These two, that I can't say.
No,
I'm just giving you my feeling of them. Now, I don't know how they are different. Like that's
like in terms of how they directed you for the part. Would there be more workshops, for instance, in Luck by Chance?
No, like in Omkara, the main prep was the accent. Like I remember that we were all given a CD. I think back then it used to be CDs of our dialogues. So I had to
read by someone else.
Yeah, because one doesn't know this accent, no. And I, you know, when I went for he did a narration for all the actors. I think it's Sun and Sand or something. I remember hearing it and thinking, oh my God, I'm not following everything. I can't even understand everything that they're saying.
Right now.
Right now, how will I even do it?
I think the first...
Many times I want to run away. Many times I'm like, oh shit, why did I take this on?
What about Anurag Basu? Because, you know, we've heard crazy stories about how Anurag Basu directs.
He's a dream. I think he just knows his craft so... I mean, they all do. Not to compare anybody to anybody. And there are different ways to being a good director. There's no one way of being a good director, no? And... But I love working with Anurag because he's just so chilled out and so relaxed and so sweet. On the first Metro, I remember, like, it doesn't feel like we're really doing anything. It's very, and Irfan is also like that, you know. So it's very much like, हाँ ठीक है ये कर लेते हैं kind of thing. And then Anurag will say, in Bengali, he'll be like, आज की ना एक तो भाबची mutton बनाएंगे. And you know, he's like, today let's not shoot, let's just go make some mutton curry kind of thing. Or like, they're very chilled out. Like, it was a great, like, you never felt like you're doing anything major. Or I remember on the first film, a very close aunt had died within the first few days of the shoot. And I was just like, oh my God. And I was so young. And I was just like, oh my God. I was just like walking around like slightly dazed. And he was just like, please go to Cal. What are you even doing here? Just go. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And I went, which was amazing. You know, a lot of humanity.
Right.
That's what comes through, I think, the most with Anurag.
And that's the one director who made Metro twice, and you're the only actor who was in both the Metro films, right?
So lucky.
Why is it, like, you know, say Shonali Bose made Amu, that was her first film. Zoya's first film, Luck by Chance. Ayan Mukherjee's first film being Wake Up Sid. You didn't work with them again. But did you like come close to it? Or the scripts that you want to be part of?
No, I didn't come close to it. But their first films are also quite different from their later films.
Ah, right.
Isn't it? Maybe.
They want to go like full-blown mainstream after that, at least in the case of Zoya.
Like super fun and like great stuff, but it's texturally very different from their first film.
Right. Was there any role that you thought you should have got and now you regret for whatever reasons? Like, for instance, were you part of Namesake and now you regret, because that was a great film. Were you supposed to be part of Namesake? No,
I mean, you know, there were some very early talks, but I'm just like so thrilled that my favorite actress Tabu is in it, and can't ever imagine anybody else.
Are there any roles like that? That when you saw later, it's like, hey man, would have been amazing to be part of this.
I mean, I would love to be part of any Meera and Iyer film, of course. I did end up doing one short film with her, called, I think part of a series called 8 or something. So it's great that I got a chance to work with her.
Right. There's somebody you mentioned earlier in the interview that I thought I'll bring up a little later, and of course that's your grandfather. There are two men actually in your life that I want to talk about because not too many people know about it. Everyone knows about Aparna Sen, but not so much about Chidanand Das Gupta. He used to be one of the greatest, film critics, historians, film historians. Started the film movement or the film society movement with Ray. Tell us a little bit about your grandfather. I've read a book of his called Seeing is Believing.
Yeah,
that was many years ago.
I haven't even read the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And some of his writing is so dense. Him and
Very
my
academic,
dad actually,
right.
very academic. And I will read them all. Right now, just read excerpts here and there. But so very, very forward-thinking, progressive, liberal family upbringing, both my mom's entire side and my dad as well. So they never actually stopped me from watching anything or reading anything that I wanted to.
And he was close to Ray. Like, did you get a chance to hang with Ray?
I was too young. Sadly, I never got to.
In 91 he passed, I can't remember which year.
I was in school.
Did you ever see him?
I believe I must have when I was a kid, but
no
I
memory.
don't actually remember it. Manik Kaka, we would hear this name. Mrinal Kaka, Manik Kaka. Luckily, I got to meet Mrinal Sen a few times. Sadly, didn't get to work in any of his films.
Right. There's one film that I've been meaning to watch, never got a chance to, which is called Piku.
Yes.
Which is a short film with Aparna Sen in it and directed by Ray.
Yeah.
And there is the Shuji Sarkar Piku that takes some reference from that film.
Does it take in reference?
I mean, of course, the title's there, but I don't know.
The title.
I've not seen the film, so I don't know.
Story-wise, it's very different.
Right.
Ray's Piku, and I haven't seen Shuji Sarkar's Piku.
Oh, you haven't?
Somehow, I don't know how I missed it.
And it's the first Bengali film made in Hindi. I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah. But the Ray's Piku is actually a very mature adult film, and I'm sure Shujit's is as well. It's just that it's very interesting because it's about this mother who's having an affair and who keeps the child busy. It's very interesting. It's because especially back in the day, looking at female desire, etc., was not so prevalent.
Tell me something. It's something I also asked Shujit because he also comes from Calcutta. In fact, continues to live there, and I'm sure your roots continue to exist in Calcutta as well. What's up with the Bengali film industry? Why? I mean, there was a golden age. There were like these great films, but we don't see that kind of quality anymore. I'm saying that because in one of these years, I was on the National Award jury with a friend of mine who's a Bengali filmmaker, Anik Datta. And he, after the 10th or the 15th film, he started yelling from behind, assault. Because I'm like, dude, I can't take this anymore. What's up? What's up with the Bengali films? Why aren't they where they were? And not too long ago, I mean, we just mentioned Doshar. I mean, that's Rituparno, Ghosh. And
I have to say that I'm not so in touch with the Bengali film industry. I can't remember, the Bengali films I've done have been largely with my mother. So Aparna Sen, Rituparno Ghosh, I've done a Gautam Ghosh film, I've done the Odd Shubhrata Sen film and a few others. But it's not like I've actually done a lot of Bengali films. So I honestly, I wouldn't know. But I have to say that overall, the middle of the road kind of sensible film that's kind of palatable for all kinds of audiences, that overall has kind of become less or disappeared really nowadays, isn't it?
So is it like they're trying to be too massy?
Honestly,
mainstream?
I don't
You wouldn't
really
know. You haven't seen these films.
I don't know. I also don't consume a lot of content.
Okay.
I mean, I don't watch, consume at the rate for even that my friends do. I do. I think I consume a lot, but compared to people, maybe not. So I wouldn't want to comment because I don't really know.
Right.
And I've also not lived and worked there.
Right. Right.
I barely know what's happening here, and I'm living and working here.
Which world do you live in, boss?
I live in my own world.
Huh?
I'm like, thank God, I'm living in my own world.
Which doesn't surprise me, actually. There's an insouciance. There's that cool distance that you've always kept, never, and also remained the same, I think, since
I feel like
forever.
I'm the same since I was 9 years old.
Yeah?
I mean, the values are the same. I may have become a little smarter, a little slightly maybe hardened or like, learn a little more, maybe confident or whatever. But I feel like I'm the same when I was 9. I had the same value. It's not like my values have changed.
Tell me about your dad. That's the second person in your life that we would love to talk about. I'll tell you why. Because he has a cult following among an entire generation that will wake up every Sunday to play his Mind Sport. That was the column that has come in the Sunday Times of India. And, I just didn't know until very, very late that he's actually your dad.
That's right.
Because your Sen Sharma could mean anything.
Yeah.
Right? Sen Sharma you use as one word, right? For the longest in your credits?
I do now, because it's just like easier and quicker. Because that's the thing about my parents and grandparents, is that they were very cool like that. Like they never infantilized me and always treated me as like a sovereign identity of my own.
Sovereign identity, that's a pretty cool line. I love that.
Like
Independent Republic of Konkona Sen.
Yeah. So I was probably all of 4 or 5 when they asked me, do you want to be Konkona? And I've told this story many times. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself. Do you want to be Konkona Sen or do you want to be Konkona Sharma? And I really thought, and why did I pick both? Because I felt like if I chose Sharma, my mom would feel bad. If I chose Sen, my dad would feel bad. So I was like, I'll just be Sen Sharma. And then I had to live with this long ass name for the rest of my life. My college career, my entire school career, I had people Konkona Sen Sharma, like people mispronouncing my massive name.
Who were you mimicking right now? Like a
Mrs.
teacher
Gopalan from Modern High School.
From Modern High School? I thought this was Dr. Roy from St. Stephen's College.
No, Dr. Roy spoke much better. I'm actually not even doing it very well. And rest in peace.
You're a mother now. And so Harun.
That's right.
So that's Harun, Sen, Sharma, Shore. How does it go?
So I actually decided, we decided just to stick with Shore, because I was like, if I do, because it didn't make sense to me. Because if I do, like, Sen Sharma is actually not even like my mom's maiden name. Neither of them are my mom's maiden names. So I was like, then it'll be Sen Sharma. And if it was a girl, or even as a boy, like if they would want to take on the last name of their spouse, it would be Sen Sharma Shori, I don't know, Chatterjee. So I just felt that this is an endless game. Like this just doesn't end. So then and having done that to myself, I was like, you decide later if you want to like add on a middle name or something. Let's just do Harun Shori.
So tell us about Mukul Sharma.
Oh my God, he was the coolest. He was the funniest, and it's very difficult and weird to talk about him in the past tense. But again, like his writings, again, so dense and so funny, but like often like not so accessible to me. Like Mind Sport and stuff are like brain teasers that he wrote. So his contributions to my world, like of course, I mean, it's not like you can really name the contributions of your parents, right? Until like maybe closer to your death, when you have enough to look back on. But I would say like, so science and humor were the two main like things that he kind of stood for. Science, humor, so great storytellers. Both my parents, big personalities, great storytellers. And he played the guitar, he sang songs, he was really into puzzles and brain teasers. He was a futurist, so he wrote columns on futurism. And he introduced me to Calvin and Hobbes. I'm just trying to give you a very quick and brief snippet. I don't know how one does that.
Sure.
And the film that I directed is also based.
You to the film that you eventually made. The story.
Yeah, that's actually just a childhood story that he would tell when I was younger. He would tell the story.
He would make this up.
No, it was actually a true story.
It's a true story.
But I mean, the seed of it of the film is a true story.
That's Death in the Gunj you're talking about.
Yes, yes, and it's a story I've heard from my childhood. And it's a story that deeply fascinated me from my childhood, and I would tell my father to tell it again and again because it was like it was a false prophecy that was fulfilled. So it like endlessly fascinated me. And when I've said this before, but when a loved one tells a story again and again, it's imbued with a certain emotion, So it just kind of recreated a whole world for me. So in a way, like my film is set in the 70s, which is in a way the imagined youth of my parents. And I know that for a lot of people, it's very, like their parents didn't talk, look or behave or dress like that. But my parents did. My parents did. And maybe, some elite Bengalis did. And they did speak a lot in English. They did wear bell bottoms and
So you take that story, you're a first-time director, you go to a first-time producer, which is Abhishek Chaubey, and decide to make a film. I mean, it's an odd choice, right?
You know,
how did that work out?
That's because, I mean, again, I didn't really think I was going to direct anything. It's not like I was dying to direct.
From a reluctant actor, you become a reluctant director. Let's go with it.
Yeah, I'm like that only. Accidental actor, I said.
Accidental actor and reluctant
director. I had no plans to direct anything. I had seen my mother suffer enough. No funding, how difficult it is, and you know, the behind, like the back thing. I saw the what is it called? Behind the scenes.
BTS.
Yeah. But it's just that after I had Haroon, after I had my baby, I mean, work did slow down naturally to a certain extent. So I had some time. I think our house was being renovated or something. I'd gone to stay with my dad, with my kid for some time, and we were just. And this story is something which anyway always fascinated me, and it just kind of just grew in my head. And I was first imagining it in 3 acts, and then whatever. Like then that script evolved the way it did, and I would jam with my dad as well, and then I just developed this thing and I wrote it out. And then, you know, while I was writing it, honestly, Mayank, I was like, it's okay. Nobody's ever going to give me money to make it anyway. So I can write whatever I want.
It could be a short story.
So I just wrote whatever I wanted. You know, I just wrote it.
But you wrote it like a script though.
I wrote it like a script. And then I also took it to the script lab. Martin Rabatz, who's a fantastic mentor and who just like deleted so many scenes and characters, thank God. And then I also, and then I just kept it away, and my mom kept saying, come on, go to produce. I went to also a few producers, and I don't think they were very interested. And I mean, it's okay, I don't really blame them. They had like other concerns. And then I think Hani Chehan had come to me with a script. So he used to be a casting director and a great casting director. Right. And then he was Vishal's was Vishal's assistant. And then he's of course like a brilliant director in his own right today. And he came to me saying, I'm producing this film. It's for this this female director. And he told me a few lines about the story. And I jokingly said, why don't you produce my film? And he said, okay, send me the script. So I was like, okay. I didn't take it very seriously. I was also like acting. I sent him the script and he read it. And I think Abhishek read it and he said, I'm the producer. So I was like, okay. I didn't even take it very seriously. Then when he was gathering funding or something and I was trying to, and I was like, honey, we should really get a proper producer. He was like, Koko, I'm the producer. I was like, really? Okay. And then even when we were like making the film and in the prep and all, I was like, you know, nobody's ever going to come and watch the film, so I can just make whatever I want. So it gave me a lot of freedom and a lot of liberty because I was the chief person to please, and I'm quite hard to please anyway.
So is that a bug that bit you or no? I mean, then you did a short film for Love Stories 2, which again was like loved across and became a conversation starter for multiple reasons. Is that the direction? Directing your direction?
No, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I don't feel like I have to know. And again, that was like they came to me saying that, will you do this?
Yeah, people just keep coming to you. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why they think I can.
Any random advice, you just tell them what are your nakshatra, whatever stars are, you know, like astrology. Just be born there. People just keep coming to you.
No. I actually wasn't, with that film also, I remember, when Ashi Dua came to me, the producer, I was like, okay, you know what, I will just, I don't have a script right now, but give me a few months. If I can come up with something, I'll make it. And if I can't, then I'm going to bow out. Because, and I'm always like, I would rather under-promise and over-deliver than, you know, be like, bana denge and all. I'm not that person. That's not my personality. And then amazingly, we cracked this amazing story. And the whole time, Pooja Tolani and I, and of course Disha Rindani, who's been my long time associate, even on Death in the Gunj and in Mirror, and my first collaborator on many things, and a great director in her own right. And with Pooja Tolani, I co-wrote this, and you know, we were always like, can we do this? Is it allowed? Isn't it too much? Is it okay? And that was the fun. Actually, it was like, should we? That was the fun.
Where did it come from?
See, now they said that it has to be a lust story.
Yeah.
So we had to think sex.
Yeah.
You know. So we're like, now just sex is very boring. I mean, not like boring in the sense like you can't just put it just. It's not a story. No, it has to be something.
Yeah.
So how to complicate? You know. So. And then, you know, there were a few, it came from a real life story again. I went to someone's house, one of my friends, and she was telling me a story about how she came home from work with a migraine and the help at home was in bed with a man. And she was like horrified and she just like ran out. That's what she told me. And I was fascinated. And also the way she was telling it, my friends, the reactions of people, you know, and it just felt like, oh my God, there's a lot here that's happening and it's seeming fun. So then I started imagining more and more and more. And then Pooja Tolani actually came to me to narrate another set of short stories. And I realized that this woman is very good at writing she's good at writing scripts, but I hadn't at that time read any of her full feature-length scripts. I heard, and a short story or a short film has to have some kind of punch,
right,
which she seemed to have structurally. So then, you know, so that was a great collaboration, and it was a super fun collaboration as well.
You know, I have to say, Koko, that we can continue having this
forever,
conversation, but right before we started, you made it known you have to go back to your plane.
And it's so much fun, but you know, what is the time? And
so
I have a son.
I'm actually booking you for another conversation.
Yes, please, I would love that.
Maybe with a lot of common friends involved. Maybe get Jhandu, get Minna, shout out to all of them. Maybe get Ankur as well.
Yes,
and have a proper adda. But
I would love
I'm going to end this conversation with, and this is what's really cool about you. And I can say this, and I think everyone here feels the same, is how nothing freaking affects you at all. You know, like you do your thing, you go back to your world, and you come back, you do your thing. What does fame mean to you?
Oh, Baba. I don't know. We'll see now at the end of it all. You know, it can come, it can go. We just don't know anything. We just don't know. It's also an extraneous thing. Like, and I don't know. Because sometimes it's like, I mean, I'm also at this very convenient level of fame, Mayank, where I have a certain kind of, you know, there are people who like me. Often they're quite like sophisticated, but it's not so intrusive that I can't actually walk out and have regular experiences. But I get a certain kind of, you know, love and respect. So it's been going great.
What does money mean to you?
Oh, I don't know why you're throwing these massive curveballs in the end. It's very, you know, it's a great convenience. It's a great convenience, but it's not gonna solve any major internal issues unless it's medical.
That's a good point,
I guess.
Thank you very much, Konkona Sen.
Thank you. What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Your window to India and the world. Midday. Local pulse, global perspective.